I brought to your attention that unless we really know the nature of God, we are handicapped in knowing how to pray. And prayer is essential because prayer is our contact with God. Prayer is the means whereby God's grace or God's love or God's benediction is released into our experience. You will remember that if you abide in the Word and if you let the Word abide in you, then you are one with God, and you shall bear fruit richly. But if you are not one with God, if you do not abide in the Word and let the Word abide in you, then we are taught by the Master that we are as branches that are cut off and withereth. Now, of course, the main thing that comes to our attention is how do we abide in the Word? How do we let the Word abide in us so that we may experience this flow of God into our experience and thereby bear fruit richly? In other words, prosper, enjoy spiritual grace. And all of this includes health, harmony, wholeness, completeness, perfection, infinite good. Well, the search of the Master's teaching reveals this, that in order for us to abide in the Word and let the Word abide in us, we must follow some of the things which He has given to us as laws of God. For instance, one of the very important points given to us by the Master is forgiveness. Now, it is something to which we pay, as humans, we pay very little attention in life. Once in a while, when we're in the mood, we can forgive somebody for some offense, but mostly we are storing up indignation or resentment at someone or some event or some experience, and by not cleansing ourselves of these emotions, we withhold forgiveness, and in withholding forgiveness, we are withholding the love of God, for forgiveness is one of those qualities of God. And so it is that it becomes a very important part of our prayer to turn in thought to whoever it is or whatever it is that we have held in unforgiveness and begin to forgive. Well, of course, there are times when the thought is bound to come to you, well, up to this point I can forgive, but don't ask me to forgive this person, or don't ask me to forgive for this offense. That is going one step too far. There is always a way of getting around that and still bringing the power of forgiveness into your experience. When you come to a place where you cannot forgive, you can at least turn to the Father and ask the Father to forgive. And that takes it out of your hands entirely. The point is, whether you forgive or whether you pray that God forgive, it is all the same thing, for in the end, it is God's forgiveness that counts. The main thing is that forgiveness be entertained in your thought often, so that you are sure that you are not storing up anything within you that could act as a barrier for the grace of God to come into your life. Remember this, that any discords, any inharmonies in our experience represent some barrier against God's grace reaching us. Some barrier that we are erecting either consciously or unconsciously. And when we begin to let forgiveness flow, we are letting God's grace flow. So it is up to us to learn the lessons of forgiveness, to practice them, and in all events to be sure that we are praying as the Master did, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. This takes the burden of guilt, of holding someone else in condemnation off of your shoulder. There's another word, and in your Maclean's magazine of very recent date, there is a strange article by a doctor in which he points out that gratitude will heal most diseases. Metaphysically, we have been taught the power of gratitude. Now Materia Medica comes along and finds gratitude also to be a great release. But the point there is too, what is gratitude, and are we capable of it? Well, if you would look at the human race as such, you'd say, no, that's beyond their powers. You can't expect gratitude from a human being, and if you do, you're going to be disappointed. That's not quite true if you understand the nature of gratitude.